What's going on? What's going on? All right. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what rhyme it is. It's your gracious Jose 6. Nice to see you guys. Wasn't live last week. I was out and about. I told you guys I was trying to do a show this week. I dropped a video earlier this week. So if you saw it about the whole entire Cuomo thing and dropping my 2 cents on it, appreciate it if you hit the like button on that video. This one too, mash that like button, show support. We got to beat this algorithm. We're being suppressed. True YouTube channels that are telling certain information that they do not want to get out, they're suppressing. So please make sure you hit that like button. I greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button also. I mean, if you can, if you want to, you can drop something on the Cash App too. $1, $2, $5. I can go get myself a beer or something. Might even be able to throw some gas in the whip, keep it moving so I can travel privately. Can't do that without petrol. You know how it goes. All right. So how's everybody's weekend, man? How's everybody's weekend going? How did everything go in the last couple of weeks? Anything interesting happen to anybody? Let's start here in the comment section. We got a man. Let truth be told. Peace, peace. What's up with you, man? How you feeling? Good to see you here. Good to see you here. So as you know, last week I wasn't on live. I was at a comedy show last week. I made an effort to get out to see Big Job. You ever saw Big Job? He's another YouTuber who has a channel that's very successful. It's got over 1 million views now. When I first got on the Big Job, he only had about 400,000, but he kept putting out good content, good quality content, and he kept getting more views and he kept getting more burn. He got himself a page on Facebook, a fan page, and all that stuff, on Instagram. Him and his whole squad are taking off, man. It's just good to see those brothers making move and making leeway. So shout out to them, shout out to Big Ja, and shout out to the whole squad. You probably saw on my Instagram, I took a couple pictures with him and my man Craig Smith too. Um, Very nice, humble, down to earth dudes, man. Performance was excellent. Now, as you know, we're here in Baltimore. Baltimore can be a tough crowd. So Craig Smith was doing his set, and this guy start heckling him. He just started talking shit, like them busted ass shoes you got on, and of course, in comedic fashion, Craig Smith roasted him. But see, the messed up part was when he was roasting him, he lost his place in his material, so he ended up cutting the set short. Now I know he's a little irritated about that when I spoke to him afterwards, so I kept it very brief. But he was a cool dude nonetheless. Big John's a very down to earth guy, very easy to talk to. I know a lot of cats like him that are very easy to talk to. Cool, down to earth, even though they famous, so to speak. But yeah, you know what it is. Yep. So what we're gonna do today is there's a few things I wanted to drop on you guys. I've been studying as usual this week, and I wanted to make sure I relayed some information to you guys. So we're gonna get right into it. Now, how long this video is depends on you guys. If you guys want to drop some questions or something like that, or if you got something you want to talk about in particular, I will be having Bad Wolf on tonight, the legendary Bad Wolf. So what I'll be doing is dropping a link later, and it'll be jumping in, and we'll be having a word with you guys on these different variants of things. So first thing I wanted to talk about is 18 United States Code Title 242, Deprivation of Rights under color of law. So if you're going to be out here traveling privately, which you have the right to do, and it is covered by liberties, underneath liberties in the Constitution, and it was established by Kent versus Dole's 1958 Supreme Court case ruling. So let's see here. Let me go ahead and share this screen so we can cover that. Here we go, right here. So it is. This is official right here. This is the United States Department of Justice website. So deprivation of rights under color of law. That is Section 242 of Title 18. Let's read what it says. Section 242 of Title 18 makes it a crime for a person acting under color of law of any law willfully. Excuse me. Acting under color of law. Acting under color of any law to willfully deprive a person of a right or privilege protected by the constitutional laws of the United States. For the purpose of Section 242, acts under color of law include acts not only done by federal, state, or local officials within their lawful authority, but also acts done beyond their bounds that is official that of that official's lawful authority. If the acts are done while the official is purporting or pretending to act in the performance of his or her official duties. Persons acting under color of law within the meaning of the statute include police officers. Big underline of that. Let me go ahead and highlight that for you guys because that's a little gem right here. You know how I do things. I like to drop gems early. Police officers. Had to get a quick water. All right. Prison guards and other law enforcement officials, as well as judges, care providers, and public health facilities, and others who are acting as public officials. It is not necessary for the crime to be motivated by animus towards race, color, sex, religion, handicap, family status, or national origin of the victim. All right, so let's scroll down. So for anybody who's been to traffic court before and has gotten steamrolled by a judge or an official pretending to be a judge, because we all know these aren't real judges. They're actually acting as a judge, so they're not officially judges. If you ever got steamrolled and they told the judge you don't have the right to a jury trial, or trial by jury, anything like that, there you go. And I know quite a few of us who have dealt with police, even on a regular traffic stop, are pretty much dealing with deprivation of rights under color of law. So let's say, for instance, you're traveling in your private conveyance, personal property, private property, whatever you call it. You get pulled over. They throw the lights on. They say, "Hey, why are your tags? What's wrong with your tags?" First off, you're not even supposed to be able to pull anybody over for anything like that. Those lights are for emergencies only, and that's not really an emergency because at the end of the day, nobody's harmed. There's no injured party. Not really an emergency. So the fact that he pulled you over for that reason automatically already is suspect as hell. Then when he starts to pull you out of your car and stuff, let's say you give him your passport card, he wants to try to go around that and give you a ticket on your license when you didn't give him a license. That's also a violation too. So I mean, he's pretty much hindering your right to travel. I choked on my goddamn saliva. I'm trying to get that damn thing out my throat. But anyway, yeah. So whenever you have a situation like that, when they're acting against what's lawful to enforce what's legal, then there you have it. Deprivation of rights under color of law. We're going to continue with that. Let me blow this up. All right. So it says, Title 18, United States Code, Section 242. Whoever under color of law, they keep tripping me up with that. Whoever under color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not for more than 1 year or both. And if bodily injury results from the acts committed in violation of this section, or such acts include the use, attempted use, or threatened use of a dangerous weapon, explosives, or fire, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both. So have you ever had a police officer point a gun at you and tell you to get out of your car when you're traveling privately and you haven't done anything unlawful? Have you ever had that happen to you? Because if so, it says right here what should happen to them. And if death results from acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include kidnapping, which is basically a false arrest, or an attempt to kidnap, aggravated sexual abuse. We've all heard stories about women getting groped on those searches by male officers. Male officers aren't even supposed to search female assailants or what have you. It's supposed to be they're supposed to get a woman on the scene to search him, or an attempt to commit aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to kill shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for any term of years or for life or both, or may be sentenced to death. Now, it just makes me wonder what particular situation would actually happen for one of those officials acting corruptly to be sentenced to death. Because I don't think I've ever heard that happen before. But the law is right there in the books, United States Code, Title 18, Section 242. But I mean, that's a very powerful tool to be armed with. I mean, you can literally quote that to a police officer, and even if they don't know what the hell you're talking about, the fact that you have it memorized is a very good thing. So know that you do have that protection there, And also, if you have been violated, you have that repercussion to use against them. Don't let their actions get away, or let their them get away with having actions that are unlawful. Because too often do they do things like that to people and get away with it because nobody does anything about it. The first time I got pulled over, you guys saw it on YouTube, and this was my first time getting stopped with this whole entire process. And he got away with a lot of that bullshit. But I mean, he wasn't really supposed to do any of it. But there you have it. So, yep, remember that, please, and keep that in the tuck. If you need to, print it out and put it in your car. That way, when you have your travel documents, and I already told you guys which documents to have. If you don't know, you can scroll back to my older video and find out which documents you should have with you if you're traveling privately. That way, if it's a situation where they don't believe something you're saying, or you need to get a lieutenant on the scene or something like that, you can get him on the scene and put him on point because he's gonna be a lot sharper than the lackeys are. So there you have it. All right. So look, I was doing some browsing around, and I like to the way I get some of this information, like I'll just be literally following like different pages and I'll be scrolling through and I might see something that's very interesting I'll look deeper into. So this could be things like information, articles, this could be videos, sometimes it's even news clippings. But in this particular situation, it was a book, a very interesting book. I told you about the book of genealogy I got about 3 or 4 weeks ago, which is a very good read. I highly suggest grabbing that bad boy. But I found another interesting gem too. You guys might be interested in finding out about. So check this one out right here. I actually got it off of Amazon, and this book is called The Lost Ways. And this intrigued me because the original thing that drew me in about this book was they had like a little video of the top five. I think it was the top five everyday plants that you see that you didn't know what qualities they had. And there was this plant I always saw growing up in Baltimore. In certain areas, like bad areas and stuff, you always hear the story about the proverbial weed cracking through the cement through a ray of sunlight and ends up busting through the concrete. Well, that actually was very common in the leaf that I always saw, the plant that I always saw. We always thought it was weeds, but interestingly enough, it wasn't just a parasite weed. This thing actually had antiseptic abilities. That blew me away. So they actually went in detail and showed what you had to do in order to turn this plant into an antiseptic. And they were saying that you could basically take the plant out, um, disregard the leaves, you want the roots or what have you. And the roots have like like you squeeze them, they've got like a white substance to come out of the bottom, and you basically put it boil it or something like that. Somehow you boil it and you stir it up and it turns brown, and then you store it in a container. And if you get a cut or a burn, you put it on the cut or a burn, and it'll actually act as an antiseptic. That was crazy. I'm like, yo, and I knew all this stuff existed, but it's just crazy how many of these plants are sitting around every day that we didn't even know what they did. So if it ever happens to be a situation where the electric magnetic pulse or something happens, I mean, anybody who's living in Texas, whenever that issue with the water, and they didn't have any good water for about, I think it was about a month, they didn't have water. I know one of my boys, he was living in Texas, and he didn't have clean water for a while. But I mean, stuff like this might be able to help you. So let me tell you about the first thing I found interesting. They got something called pemmican. And pemmican is basically a meal the natives of the land used to eat. And what it is I'll read it to you. Hold on, let me jump forward a little bit. Just so you can have an idea what this book talks about. So pemmican is a concentrated, naturally complete food invented by the North American Plains Indians. It was originally made during the summer months from dried lean buffalo meat and rendered fat as a way to preserve and store the meat uh, for use when traveling as a primary food source during the lean winter months. When pemmican was discovered by our frontiersmen, explorers, hunters, trappers, and the like, it became highly sought at. It became a highly sought after commodity. The Hudson Bay Company purchased tons of pemmican from the native tribes each year to satisfy the demand. The basic unit of trade was animal hide filled with pemmican, sealed with pure rendered fat on the seams and weighing about 90 pounds. As long as it was kept away from moisture, heat, and direct sunlight, it would last for many years with no refrigeration or other method of preservation. That blew me away. I'm like, yo, you mean to tell me meat is able to be stored without being in the refrigerator and not go bad? What? So I kept reading. That blew me away. And boy, when they really broke it down on how that stuff happened and how it was the case, I was very intrigued by it. So it says there appeared to be two types of pemmican. One was a mixture of 50% shredded dehydrated lean meat and 50% rendered fat by weight. The other mixture was similar but contained 50% rendered fat and 45% shredded dehydrated meat and 5% dried and ground berries by weight. The berries were typically Saskatoon berries, which grew in abundance in the Great Plains area and are similar to blueberries. There is much controversy as to whether the natives included the dried berries in the pemmican they made for themselves or whether they added it to the pemmican they sold to the Hudson Bay Company because the white man preferred it that way. That's basically what they think the natives said. I'm of a mind that the natives consumed it both ways. All right. So they give you a bunch of information about the other things about berries and stuff. And then it says, please bear in mind, pemmican is not a raw food, as the fat needs to be heated above 200 degrees Fahrenheit in order to release it from its cellular structure and drive out the moisture. It is therefore not recommended as part of a daily RAF raw animal food diet. However, it is a useful compromise when one is traveling for use as emergency rations or when the otherwise high quality raw animal foods are unavailable. So he says it is important that the lean meat used in pemmican be dehydrated at a temperature below 120 degrees Fahrenheit, and a temperature between 100 degrees Fahrenheit and 115 is ideal. Temperatures above 120 degrees Fahrenheit will cook the meat and will severely compromise the nutritional value of the pemmican. So then they go on to say, basically, I'm not going to read you the whole entire thing, but you had to grab the book yourself. But it goes on to say that the reason why when you fry bacon it pops is because the moisture is inside the bacon. It's not because of the grease itself; it's the moisture, like the water, what have you. When you fry the bacon, you're actually cooking the moisture out of the bacon per se. Or yeah, so that's pretty much what's happening there. So they said with the pemmican, what you're doing is you're frying it in between um, what it would cook the meat and right below where the moisture can survive, or right above where the moisture can survive, and right below to cook it. So you're right in that sweet spot, rather. So when you go ahead and you quote unquote cook the meat, you're basically just driving the moisture out, but you're not fully cooking it. But it's not raw, so it's in between the two. And then there you have it, on how they store it. They basically use fat, pretty much, and they use animal hide, and that actually keeps it. You keep it in like a away from light in a place like a corner or something like that. They said it'll stay fresh. That's crazy. So yeah, you can grab the book yourself, man. It's called The Lost Ways. There's also something in here. See, this guy actually mentioned that too. See, he says, we may well find in the coming years those old skills used by our grandparents suddenly became needed again. The next major crisis, EMP, war. EMP is an electromagnetic pulse that shorts out all electronics in a nearby area. And we all know how heavily reliant we are on electronics. So I suggest everybody who's a national who believes in standing on your own too, go out and grab this book, because it is a very, very useful thing to have. And if these times roll around like we anticipate they will, we think they will, then you're gonna need something like this. So there you have it. It says EMP, war, or any other major disaster that you can think of will teach us the hard way. Many of us will die because so many of us are so detached from the real life. Yep. So interesting thing too, man. I was telling a lot of people about the Finer Spring, and it just blows my mind how afraid people are of nature. Like, yo, people are genuinely terrified of nature itself in such a way that they completely forgot that men and women were actually of the land before they were of technology. And I literally told people about the Finer Spring, and some people were just, oh, I don't think I would drink that from the spring. That seems a little dangerous, and maybe it needs to be cleaned at a factory first. And I'm like, bro, your ancestors literally drank this water all their lives. Didn't have any issues. But all of a sudden, you feel as though a plant that puts chemicals in water for you to drink is more reliable than water from the earth. Now, that's what I got in this canteen right here. So you can't help everybody, man. You can only show them the way. That's it. So it is what it is. as much as we like to get out here and help everybody who doesn't know what's going on, a lot of people ain't gonna make it, man, because a lot of people don't care. But it is what it is. Now check this out. I remember it was an old thing. I don't know if this was a quote unquote black thing, but they used to always tell us not to eat crab apples because they say crab apples would make you sick. And I always heard that from my mom and other other black people would say the same thing. And it never made sense to me. I'm like, yo, how would a plant like an apple or something like that make you sick? I never grasped that. Now I understand poison ivy and things of that nature, true, and I understand other plants you might not be able to eat, but like something like an apple. So one day, me just being me and being curious, this is in my nature. I see a tree outside with some apples growing on it. So I looked at this tree and I smelled the apples, and it smelled just like a regular apple. So I'm looking at this tree like something ain't adding up. And whenever I start to think something ain't adding up, that's when I start going and getting curious. So I go over to the tree and I grab one of the crab apples off of it and I bite that bad boy. It tastes like a regular apple. So I'm like, well, maybe it tasted like a regular apple, but I might get sick later on. Nothing happened. I was good. Came down the next day, got another one. I got them off the tree every day that summer. My mom was like, stop eating them apples. I said, well, it's a regular apple. I've been eating these apples all summer. It's a regular apple. It's smaller than regular apples are, but it tastes, I mean, it's actually juicier and sweeter, tastes more fresh, and it's not sprayed with all kinds of pesticides and stuff like that. But yeah, man, you gotta make sure they don't got worms in them. What I would do is crack them open and make sure they didn't have worms in them. And also bees, what is it? Yellow jackets like those too. So if you pick a crab apple off of a tree, please make sure it's not a yellow jacket in there because that will be a nasty surprise if you get a yellow jacket sting on your lip or your tongue. You'll be jacked up for weeks. All right, so check this out. Crab apples or Malus 161. So you go and it's got all these different plants and stuff in here and what they do. Some of them have they settle your stomach, upset stomach. Some of them are good for burns. Some of them are good for like pain and stuff like that, man. You get yourself an aspirin. Some of these plants you can actually take and they'll heal the pain for you. And we all know the plant everybody loves to take for pain, but I don't think this one grows in the United States of America naturally. So I mean, maybe it does in some areas, but who knows? But let me see here. All right, so boom, crab apples. Check it out. Crab apples, also known as wild apple, are compact ornament trees that grow wild. The genus contains up to 55 species of small deciduous apple shrubs and trees native to the temperate zone of northern hemisphere. Edibility. The fruit is a smaller, more sour version of the domestic apple. Eat them raw or sweeten them to make applesauce, pies, jelly, and juice. The leaves can be used to make a tasty tea. So all that's crazy because we supposed to be the natives of the land, and things like which apples to eat somehow got lost amongst generations. And we're only probably about maybe 6 generations removed from our ancestors that did this stuff. Maybe might not even be that much really. But like, if you really think about it, it's amazing how many things got twisted over time. You know what I mean? How much of that stuff was manipulated and by who? I mean, we already know what purposes are for, so you can be completely dependent. But at what point did that happen in mass? So it says, as a remedy, many parts of the crabapple tree are used as herbal remedies. The fruit is an astringent and is useful as a laxative. So you eat that plant, I mean, you're basically gonna be using the bathroom a lot. A poultice made from crushed fruit helps heal inflammations and wounds. The root bark is useful against worms and parasites as a sleep inducer. A root bark infusion is used as a treatment of fevers. The leaves contain antibacterial agents. Seeds of the crabapple contain toxic hydrogen cyanide, which has been claimed to be beneficial treatment of cancer, but they are poisonous in large quantities. All right, so there you have it. So the seeds you don't want to be really eating in large quantities. That's probably why they say that then. But I mean, you always not eat the seeds. But very interesting stuff, man. Beneficial in the treatment of cancer. What? Craziness, man. Grab this book, man. It's called The Lost Ways. And the author is let me tell you the author is. Get it right on Amazon. Yeah, interestingly enough, they don't have the author's name on the cover. They usually do. Claude Davis. There you go. Claude Davis. So check him out, man. Great book. So at this current time, what I'm gonna go ahead and do, I got my man Bad Wolf on standby. What's really good, famo? Sorry to keep you waiting, man. I had to ease in. What up, Prof? How you feeling? How you feeling? Let's drop this link and let's drop some smoke on these cats, man. There's the link right there. So if y'all want to hop in, drop some comments, ask some questions. If I got answers, they won't be presented. If you want to ask the Bad Wolf something, please do so. And we can chop this fable. Yep. And we can chop this fable. But yeah, man, I'm gonna be really combing this book because there's some plants outside, and I'm gonna look and see what they do and what benefits they have. And then I might even go looking for certain plants too. I mean, they've got fire pits on here, how to make certain ways to cook food and things like that. Self-feeding fire, like they've got different techniques on how to look at this. They got ways on how to build an actual fireplace that the fire can feed itself, so you don't have to keep putting logs in it. That's dope. That's dope. And I mean, it actually makes sense. These are simple machines. Look at that. You build them at an angle as a V, and you light the bad boys on fire. And as they turn into ashes, it feeds new logs in to ignite them to keep the fire going. All you got to do is keep the logs on the the feeds in order to keep the fire burning. That's valuable knowledge, man. I just literally learned something in the last few seconds. Crazy stuff. Good stuff, though. Showed you how to build a smokehouse in here. All that stuff. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and invite my main man, the myth, and the legend. Hey, Wolf, we got him live and direct. Yo, what up, man? How you feeling, dude? I'm going to go ahead and invite my main man, the myth, and the legend. Hey, Wolf, we got him live and direct. Yo, what up, man?
What's up, A6?
What's good, yo? It's a mean delay. Like it's got me.
Yeah, hold on. Let me grab some headphones.
Yep. The echo in the background too. Can anybody hear the echo? Yo, Prof, what's up with that, man? What book is that? Yo, you have an encyclopedia of herbs and their uses. Is it a picture joint where you can actually like match them up visually? Telling you, all of us need to be getting on this. We all need to be learning which herbs can do what. We need to know this stuff because this is all stuff our ancestors knew. We need to get back on the ball, period. If it comes down to an issue where you got to have a vaccine passport to go get your medicine and shit, all that's dead, bro. It's dead. If you talking about not getting the vaccine and you really want to live private and independent, now's your chance. We need to be getting up on this shit, man. So that's facts. We still got an echo, Pro? Can you hear it? We still got an echo?
I think we're good.
All right, cool. Yeah, I know it went away on my end. So look, yeah, so we got my man in here. So have you heard? What do you think about everything I've been talking about so far? Have you just jumped in here?
No, I've been watching for a hot minute, man. I definitely agree. Like, see, most of my family are from Arkansas. I was born in the Midwest, but going down there, my grandmother, all of them, they were only like one generation from being slaves. You know what I mean? So like, they were all about living off the land and eating fruits, vegetables, roots, water right from out of the ground, mineralized. Artesian wells and all that kind of stuff. So. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like people don't even know that you need to know this, and you may not utilize it right now. But learning how to survive on the land, filter your own water, what things you can and cannot eat. If things do hit the fan, you're gonna be needing people like A6 and me and whoever else to help y'all out. If traveling communities or groups get together in order to survive, because them stores are gonna be looted for food, stores for weapons, all that stuff. That's going to be the first thing to go.
That's the first thing gone, baby.
And once that, if they like, if the terrorists were really serious, and they hit all the power grids at the same time, it's going to be a long time before that power comes on. All your food is going to be just, going to waste. It's going to rot in the stores. They're going to get hit, and their food's going to rot. And ain't nobody going to be trying to deliver food in an area, like they're going to be like, I got to stay home and take care of me and mine. Them trucks ain't coming. Nope. So you better know what to do. You're going to be hungry eating grass.
Exactly. Hey, I told people, man, get on the ball now, bro. All of this information that we relay to y'all, what bothers me the most is when people contact me when they're already in a jam and they trying to like cram the information. I got a court case next week. Like, bro, what you want me to do, man? Only thing I can do is tell you to watch the video. That's all I can tell you. I don't have a magic wand to get you out of a situation. This is preemptive information. This is stuff that you need to apply before something happens. This is not stuff you go in a rush trying to look at videos. Nah, bro, it don't work like that. This information you have to know beforehand. So start getting ready, man. Know what plants do. Start a small garden. You can start off with 5 plants. Start something. You know what I mean? And if you're really talking about, listen, I literally just saw an ad on the internet for in the Meriwether Post Pavilion here in Maryland. It's in Columbia, I think it's about 25 minutes from Baltimore. They had a rock band concert, and they said basically telling you can come through, enjoy good music, all that stuff. Tickets are $20. Right above that, it said you may not come in this building if you do not have a vaccine passport. So it's already started. They're already telling people if you don't have the jab and a passport to show that you have the jab, you're not coming in this building. That's what time they on right now. So with that said, we really need to start linking up. You need to network with people in your area who are the same like-minded frequency as you are, because if not, you're gonna be in the wind. You're gonna be faced with a hard decision. You either take the jab, take the L, or you just try to make it on your own with no knowledge, and that's gonna be goddamn hell because you're gonna hit a lot of hard bumps in the road before you're able to catch up to speed.
I got something funny to add to that. So I'm doing a consultation with one of the viewers, and he was talking about how his wife, against his wishes, got the jab, right? And then so he was asking me, he was like, man, I don't he's like, I don't even want to make love to her right now because she got that, and I don't want to go into the detail, but he was just saying he might
do stuff
and so I just told him, I was like, man, you're gonna have to take the L, bro. I was like, there ain't gonna last. I know you feel strongly about it, but the wife ain't gonna have you not servicing. You know what I mean? So
it's a hard decision.
You're just gonna have to do that. But at some point in time, I mean, everybody's gonna be exposed to people who've taken the jab. Whether we want to or not, in some kind of way. Just like COVID ain't going away, or any of them things. Like people are, oh, just do this, do that, and it's gonna go away. I ain't never heard of nothing going away. I mean, we still got people out there getting polio, and we got cures for polio. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be here. We just gonna live with it.
Exactly. And another thing I told people, I actually had a video up here about a month ago, and I actually showed that lady. I think her name was Annette Larkins or something like that. But this was the lady who ate all raw organic food grown out of her backyard, and all she drank was rainwater. She stopped eating meat at 25, and she was married to her husband, who's the same age. He had a meat shop, so he kept eating like steaks and beef and all that stuff. And she would cook it for him, but she wouldn't eat it herself. She would eat nothing but raw veggies from her backyard and only drink rainwater. Well, years later, and I showed you guys this video. Years later, at age 70, the news actually came. So it's the only bit of news I believe that they actually came to her house and they interviewed her, and she stopped aging. Like she looked like she hadn't aged a day past 25, yo. Like she stopped aging, literally. And her husband, that motherfucker looked like Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks. That's how old he was. And I'm like, and he said when they go out, people say they take offense because they think he's a pervert. They're like, what you doing with that young girl? He's like, this is my wife. Then they get mad or like, what? You married that young girl? Like, no, she's 70. She just took care of her body. Then they're blown away. Then he says some people think that's his daughter. And then, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. You got a woman that's that beautiful and still look young like that. And you can't do nothing for her because you 70 and you beat up, you feel like less of a man, But you gotta take
Uh,
care of your body, exercising, getting the chemicals out. Every day we're breathing in this smog, cars riding around, and you know we're breathing this crap in. You got to get out there and exercise, get your sweat on, sweat really good at least 2 or 3 times a week. Get that crap out of your body. Drink more water, all that stuff, man. Do something.
yeah, a lot of it we don't really realize how outside influences are basically attacking our body and our cellular structure every day. I started learning about this years ago when I used to drink this power. It's like a power drink or whatever else, and I started sweating. I mean, profusely, like something was wrong. So I actually went through each chemical inside of this particular power aid would drink, whatever it was, and found out that sucralose, which sounds like sucrose, okay, which is sugar, sucralose was what was in it, which is a synthetic chemical that they discovered on accident because they were creating a powder to sprinkle over the farm fields to keep the bugs away from it. And you can look this up. This is real information. And the one technician who was creating this told the other guy to test this later, but instead he actually tasted it because he didn't understand what he said and found out that it's like 1,000 times sweeter than regular sugar. And so they put it in all of your juices and whatever else. It's sucralose, not sucrose. There's an A in there. And they put that A in there, and people think it's just sugar, but it's actually a synthetic artificial sweetener that bombards your body. So you got stuff like that. You got like aluminum in deodorant. Like if you look at your deodorant, most of them, the first 1 or 2 ingredients. And if you guys didn't know this, when you look at your ingredients on anything, right after the word ingredients, they start with the heaviest stuff or what's mostly in there, and then it trickles down. And so if you look at your deodorant, a lot of times it'll say aluminum in there. Well, aluminum is known to cause Alzheimer's and to mess with your nervous system. That's why a lot of people can't focus. So you're getting bombarded with that. You're getting bombarded with the chemicals in your laundry detergent, in the fabric sheets, your cell phones, the towers. I mean, we can't do nothing about that, really. You know what I mean? But so detoxing your body and then replenishing it with various vitamins, supplements, purified water. Those things go a long way to help fight the bombardment that we're getting, because we're under attack, like I said, every day, every moment. Bam, bam, bam.
Absolutely.
So with that lady, with her eating properly and drinking good water, essentially what's going on is that she's what they call them. She's fighting the free radicals by eating better food, whereas we were never really supposed to eat meat all the time.
Nope. Meat was supposed to be occasional.
Occasional meat. I mean, and this guy broke it down to me. He was like, if you look at our teeth structure, okay, a majority of our teeth are all flat, for like, was it herbivores? Okay, for eating plants and whatever. And we've got our canines, so that it's supposed to be like a link that, we've got less sharp teeth because we're supposed to eat more plants than meat in that ratio. So it's all about taking care of yourself. And if you don't eat right, I mean, it's truly said, you are what you eat. If you eating crap, that crap you're eating is your body's taking it and putting it into the foundation of your body like a castle. Well, if you use crappy bricks in your castle, you got a crappy castle.
Yep. That's facts right there, man. I couldn't have said it better myself, man. Take care of your body, bro. Take care of your body 100%. Like, even if you eat stuff like a chocolate cake or something like that, you go out and have a cheesecake, and you notice the next day or later on that day, if you eat it early, you feel a little sluggish, you feel tired, you just feel lethargic, as opposed to if you eat something light, you know what I mean? You eat like let's say a salad, maybe some fish or something, or some white meat or something like that, and you feel like you got a little more energy. And then even things like beef and stuff, like a T-bone steak. I mean, the T-bone steak, for me, that's a heavy meal. And for me, it slows my digestive system way down because beef is harder to digest than white meat is. So, I mean, stuff like that shouldn't be eaten as often as people are eating. I mean, you got people that eat beef. I used to eat beef every day when I was younger. You know what I mean? But you got to cut that out, man. You just have to change your diet and the way you eat, and the way you eat controls the way you think too. So you might be certain things you might not even be able to comprehend or perceive with the diet you're currently on. Then if you change that diet, certain things might start to make sense. Certain situations you were in before, you wondering, why the hell did I do that stupid shit? Like some people will go back and look at decisions they made when they were younger and wonder why the hell they did it. But what they don't factor in is when they were younger, they probably used to smoke. They used to drink all the time. You know, they used to do all kinds of wild drugs. And with that said, that chemical compound is inside your bloodstream. And then when you going out making them decisions, you're not making a decision 100% off of you. You're making a decision
Right.
off of crap you got in your body too. So that's something you got to factor in. But absolutely, Bad Wolf's 100% on point with that one. All right, so look, let's go ahead and scroll down these comments, see what we're talking about. All right. My man said it has pictures in description. Yo, send me that email, Prof. You got my email. It's right in the link or whatever. Excuse me, the description section. Send me that. I want to read that book. Very interested in that. I've been growing food in my backyard for 3 seasons. My man, we on it. My wife came from the Republic of Georgia. She is always pulling weeds from the yard to eat or make tea out of it. There are so many things right in your yard that are edible. Right. Like there's stuff right literally in the grass you can eat, bro. Like you know what I
Including
mean?
dandelions. You can actually eat dandelions and make a tea out of them, and it's
I
actually
heard about
really good
dandelion
for
tea.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard about that. I want to try that though, the dandelion tea. And they said it was a weed. They want you to spray it with chemical. And hey, check this out. How about that company that got sued for having weed spray? Years later, come to find out that shit was getting inside people's what was it? Kids were playing in the grass and kids were getting
Hmm.
sick with it and stuff like that. How about that?
Yeah.
And this is stuff they told you to spray on those weeds that are supposed to be unhealthy for the rest of the grass. Meanwhile, your kids are going out playing in that shit and they're getting fucked up.
Hmm.
So you sacrificed your kids for your plants, so your yard can look nicer. You
And
know what I
remember
mean?
that
What is the
was
irony of that?
and that was approved by the GOV. You know what I mean?
How about that? This is exactly why I tell people. I actually had my cousin chewing me out 3 days ago about the whole vaccine situation. Where I'm at with it now, if you don't know by now, this whole shit is bullshit. I don't got no words for you because there's no amount of explaining I can do to you that's gonna make you detached from your symbiote, which is the gov. You
Yeah.
obviously at this point are pretty much a ward of the state. So you need to be taken care of. So you need to be told what it is. I don't need to be fucking taken care of for real. So I can read myself and do my own research. And
Yeah.
it's really no point in explaining it to people at this point, man. I don't have patience for it. Because no matter what you tell them, if they don't hear it from the government, it's not real.
Right.
So
Bro, let me tell you, man. My ex-girlfriend is a nurse, and every time she sees me post on Facebook about COVID and whatever, I see. I follow this kind of stuff, my entire life. You know what I mean? So like, I actually found let me say this correctly. When the Chinese scientist who broke the whole COVID thing out there, he put that video out there day one before he disappeared,
they killed his ass.
died. I seen that video before he got scrubbed. You know what I mean? So I knew it was coming. You know what I mean? And so I was on following that whole thing. And man, if you don't know by now, like I posted a video about there's a guy, his name is Paul. I think it's like Paul Pouvier or something like that. He's up in Canada. And this guy he's a chopper, man. He was in their Senate and he was asking this lady, he was like, when did you know that COVID was coming? Right? And for like 10 minutes, she's avoiding him. And he finally gets up and like, look, it's a yes or no question. Did you know about it? She was like, well, yeah. And he was like, well, when did you know about it? And she was like, she finally broke down and was like, okay, well, the United States GOV is a confidential partner in certain matters. They did give us this information. And I think she said it was they knew about it at the end of November, beginning of December.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, we didn't hear about it until March, right?
Yeah.
And he said it right there. So I had posted that up there. Everybody shut up. All the trolls on my Facebook were like, oh. Yeah. So if you don't know by now, it's because you're not looking for it.
Exactly. And check this out. How about this? How about the convenience of this? All right. Remember when China at the end of 2019, you got to think all the way back. At the very end of 2019, I think this might have been it had to have been like October or something like that. China, the citizens of China were in the streets fighting the government. Remember that? They had roads barricaded off. They were throwing bottles and shit at the government. They didn't have any no weapons or no
right,
arms.
yeah.
They're not allowed to bear arms. but they were using what they had, and they were beating their asses. And people were wondering, like, yo, how the fuck is the government losing? It's because they were outnumbered severely. Like,
Yeah.
people were 100% against the government. All of a sudden, this virus comes out. And I remember the previous week, I was watching all this footage of these Chinese people fighting this government. They had blocks and barricades up. They were throwing stuff off buildings. They were ambushing soldiers and stuff with bricks. And then this virus came out, and a couple weeks later, those roads were clear. It wasn't nobody on the roads no more.
They were bordering people's doors closed, like nailing them shut.
I saw that.
All of that. Yeah, I was like, whew.
I'm like, yo, hold on, man. So you mean to tell me conveniently this virus just happens to come out when China's about to lose control of the fucking government? And from what I read, I don't know how true this is, but from what I read, there was actually the whole thing was over the government trying to overstep an agreement that told them they couldn't cross certain borders to come into the other part of China. I think it was Taiwan or something like that. There's an agreement they had where a certain part of China was not able to be taken over by the military, and they were trying to come in 5 years earlier ahead of what the agreement stated, and they were fighting against that. But I don't know if that was true or not. That might have been just a cover-up.
I think that was part of it, but I know a lot of it had to do with the fact that like that guy, the scientist who went missing, was saying, he was like, yeah, they're trying to basically shut this all down. They're trying to control all the information. That was their attempt to quarantine all the people and be able to handle the situation, because they didn't want people leaving and telling. They didn't want people on the internet. That's why they scrubbed those videos, all that kind of stuff. So it has to do with what you're talking about, but it was like a collab. It was like, yeah, we want to have access to this area. People were fighting back. They're like, hey, you're not going to do this, to us. We got to let the world know. But, so I get their methods of trying to quarantine it, because they're like, they don't have those rights and stuff like we have here. You know what I mean? Yeah. They are. I mean, we're heading that way ish. But man, but they're trying to. The difference is here. There's way too many of us, and way too many people got them chitty bang bangs, and they know that. They're like, yeah.
Let's be real here. You see how much of a fight China put up against those motherfuckers. The last thing they want to do is try some shit like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. It has to be willful. You have to give it up. They can't take it because it's just impossible. A forceful extraction of rights will not end out well for them. And then, not to mention, a lot of the fucking militaries are already saying, "Fuck you, I ain't getting no COVID shot." You know what I mean? But it has to be. You have to give it to them in order for, and it's much easier if you give it to them. Much easier. That's people. That's why I try to explain to people like, yo, if you see what's happening in places like China right now, the reason why that happened is because they don't have a way to stand against the government. You're willingly giving up your rights, willingly, and it's not even enough for you to give up your rights. You're giving up my rights too. You're giving up everybody else's freaking rights just because you want to feel safe. And it's just like everybody said in history: those who give up freedom to feel security don't deserve either. And that's right. So boom. So let's drop. Go ahead. You want to say something?
Oh no, yeah, I was just going to say. Well, the whole thing is after they took over the educational system, they've been watering things down. Like I was talking to on a consultation yesterday, and I saw them how when I was in school, they were teaching civics and history, the full. Like they were like, hey, this is where we messed up. We did this. We did that. Nowadays, they don't have any of those things.
Civics. We ain't have no civics, bro. I graduated in 2003. We didn't have no civics at all.
Civics was fire. I had a lady by the name of I think it was Miss Smith or something like that, and she was like, "Yeah, we had presidents before George Washington. Some of them were of color. We did this, we did that. There's the real American government, and then there's the GOV, and so we all knew this stuff. You know what I mean? But last time I checked on people who were still in school, they're like, no, they don't." Teach us any of that.
Yeah. Dumbing people down, man. It's easy to control you if you don't know shit.
Yeah.
Easy to take your rights if you don't know what they are,
Right.
So check my man out. My man Carl Trombley said, I've been doing solar at my house for 4 years so far. That's what's up.
Yeah, that's fire.
Get canned goods and refresh your veggies. Now, here's my thing with canned goods. Like, I understand if it's a dire situation, you need to make sure you get some canned goods. But, that aluminum does have a way to get inside that food. But I know I get it. Any port in the storm, I get that. But be careful with the canned goods, please.
It's better than nothing. At the same time, you can get dehydrated food and vegetables and whatever else, and hydrate them with water, and they come right back. Like a lot of people don't know, but I used to be in like Boy Scouts. I became an Eagle Scout, so I was learning how to camp, fish, purify water, make fire from nothing, all those things. And we went on a hike, and I literally was carrying about a 70-pound pack of dehydrated food. And we would stop at a spring, you know what I mean? And this is in New Mexico. And we'd have to get the water from out of there, purify it, and then put it into our canteens and whatever else and literally cook it, you know what I mean? And it was great. And they last for like 10, 15, 20 years in a dehydrated state. You know, so definitely if you can get that over canned goods, but if you ain't got nothing, hey, eat what you got.
Fact. All right, so he says, lady is shedding. Yeah, I heard about that. People shedding from having them vaccines. Women actually, their periods get irregular. I actually had somebody I was talking to not too long ago about this on the internet, and she was basically saying that she was going to work around people who were vaccinated and she was not vaccinated, and actually gave her irregularity too. And I'm like, that's crazy. But people talk about this underneath videos and stuff like that. It's good to exchange this information. But yeah, shedding can actually cause that issue. So let's see here. Exactly. Go to Costco and buy frozen organic vegetables, boil them, can them. Okay. Boil them, can them. You can them. Yes, you can. High fructose corn syrup is the worst. Yeah, that the high fructose corn syrup is pretty bad. I know about that. If you don't eat your meat, how can you get any? Sad thing about it, people take care of their cars than themselves. Yeah, they do. I treat my body like I treat my car. Take care of it, it'll take care of you. It's
Yeah.
that simple. It's literally that simple. It can all be so simple, man.
Man, if you seen my cabinet, you would think I was a 85-year-old dude, man. I got like a ton of vitamins, nutrients, supplements, all that. Just because, I took martial arts when I was a kid, and the instructor was always like, "Hey, your body." I mean, we had charts that showed you what you ate and how it affected your body, because we had to know how to like heal ourselves. If we were ever out in like the woods, you have to find these plants and make these teas and whatever else. So I was always doing these things, and like I said, even right now, man, I got all kind of, you know, for your skin, hair, eyes. The biggest thing is finding something with high antioxidants, because years back, if you want to go into the Bible story and whatever else, the air was better. It was more concentrated. It was more pure. The land, the dirt, and everything had a lot of ash in it and stuff like that. It wasn't over processed. That's why, like a lot of Native Americans in the old days, when they would farm, they would switch crops, because certain crops would take out certain minerals and other ones would put it back in. So they would, switch up, to keep the ground fresh, and that's why they had, better food to eat. So if you can find something with a lot of antioxidants, those antioxidants will go into your body, and they will actually fight all of the free radicals. Okay, so that was the difference between like that guy and the girl you were talking about. If she's eating food that actually has content, see, a lot of food we eat today is processed. The meat is processed.
It doesn't have any nutrients in it, right?
Yeah, I mean, your white bread is bleached. They bleach it to get it that color, and they pull out all of the nutrients. Your water. My mom, like I said, was from Arkansas, and she was almost never sick a day in her life until she came up here, to this state, and started drinking this stripped out water. You know what I mean? And they put, whatever else, all the chemicals they put in there to purify, depending on where you are. But you're drinking hollow water, and that's why, like when I was watching your thing, you're talking about the places to get that pure water. All that water flows through the minerals, the elements in the ground, and it adds. It's like drinking liquid vitamins every day.
Yep.
And really, for the most part, you should find a good, multivitamin. I try to take at least half of one a day or every other day. You have to see what works for you, obviously, because some of them are higher in certain things than others. But anything you can take with lots of antioxidants in there will fight all of those those free radicals in your body, and help keep you, young, strong, and mentally awake.
Exactly. 100%. That is 100% facts. So my man says, yeah, eat organic as much as possible. Roundup, that's what it was called.
Roundup,
think there's a
yeah,
class action lawsuit right
yeah,
now for
yeah.
Roundup, and I was just like, God damn, somebody's about to get paid. And if you got affected hard enough for real, you could win a nice piece of change off of that, man, off of the Roundup.
Hmm.
But that's sad though, man, because you got these little kids that they never really got a chance to know, anything about any of this stuff. They playing in this grass. Meanwhile, the grass is slowly poisoning them. How sick is that, man? It's just wild, man. Spray is causing cancer as well. Yep. We take quercetin to what? To prevent the
Cur-
V.
Quercetin, yeah.
Okay. Amaranth plants grows wild. That virus was created in Fort Detrick, Maryland military base, level 4 biolab facility. They ran out of funds and took it to China biolab facility to further research. That makes sense. I also heard stories about there's a guy who got caught smuggling some vials from one of those. What college was? Do you remember what college that was?
No, I know what
I
you're
actually
talking
I
about.
did
Yeah,
a video on this,
yeah,
like when it
yeah.
happened, and people was like, "Yo, why is nobody talking about this?" And lo and behold, later on, COVID-19 came out. But yeah, there was
Hmm.
vials being taken to China, and dude actually got hemmed up, and the director of the science program over there got fired, and he went to jail for that shit. But they
Yeah,
so because
they
I think it was like Harvard or something. It was like one of those big
something.
name
Yeah,
colleges. Yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah.
shit ain't gonna get out there with them. Nah.
Bro, they scrub all that. They pull it. They've got so many legal ways and tactics. They can say, well, that hasn't been proven yet, or it's still
Mhm.
pending, so that needs to be scrubbed,
Yep.
or defamation of character. You know what I mean? Like if they don't want their information out there,
Yep.
they will yank it. That's why. And I forgot who said this, so I apologize. But I'll have to look up the quote. But essentially, one of these multi-billionaires, millionaires, whatever, he said the worst thing we ever did was create the internet and allow the public to use it
Yeah.
because there's only like six major families that control all the TV companies out there, the broadcasting companies. So they control all that. But the internet is what keeps us going. Because without this, man, they would be. I mean, even now on certain platforms, they'll try to stifle you or you know push your video back or whatever else. So knowledge is power, people. Knowledge is power.
Exactly. Shit, I remember back on YouTube when you would search for something, and then it would actually show you all the videos that came up under that name. And the further you went down, you could find the video you were looking for. And some of them you
Hmm.
might have to scroll down further than others, depending on how many likes and views it had. Now they only show you the top 10, and other than that, they recommending you some other stuff. But like you literally have to know what video you're looking for and who made the video in order to find the video now. But again, that's more tactics of them bottlenecking the information so certain people don't
Hmm.
get it. And think
Yep.
about if they didn't have that situation with the YouTube when this COVID thing broke out. Think of how many more people would be aware of what's going on.
Facts. Facts.
Yep. So check this out. My man William Werner says paper up in your state assembly and help bring back common law courts. All right. Looking at to Fort Detrick, Maryland military base. Look into it. I guess he meant not aluminum. The best thing to get glass jars or vacuum seal bags and get the air out of them. That's what makes the food spoil faster. Yeah, vacuum seal bags. Yeah, that's a great idea, as a matter of fact.
Hmm.
Great idea. Vacuum seal bags. I've always seen those. I always thought that kit was cool. But as a kid, I
Yeah.
wonder why the hell they had it as a kid. But I guess now the time has come. All right, all right, all right. So what we talking about now? My man says most cans are 10. Yeah, that's fact. I take C60, black seed oil, turmeric, iodine, multivitamins, aloe vera.
Yep.
Okay.
I take all those too. Yep. That's fire right there.
Mix that bad boy up in a shake or something like that.
Hmm.
That organic homegrown food even tastes different. Almost no allergic reaction. Let me tell you something. I thought for a long time I was allergic to fresh fruit, right? Turns out I'm allergic to whatever the hell they spraying on it to keep the bugs away. Like I'll bite. I used to
Hmm.
bite into an apple and my throat and gums would start itching, and people thought that was the weirdest thing for a while. And it turns out it was just the crap they were putting on the apple. Because when you cut off the skin or what have you, I'd be able to eat it just straight with no issues. So
Yeah, because they actually spray. I mean, first of all, the fruit trees and whatever else are sprayed to keep the bugs off. So that goes into the apple itself and on top of the fruit. And then they actually have like a wax type of chemical solution that they spray on the fruit to keep it lasting longer and to give it a shine, so that when we go to the store, we're like, ooh, shiny apples, and you go and buy it. But if you take your fingernail and you go like that on the skin of it, you'll see a whole bunch of white stuff on it. It's a thin layer that they put on there to preserve it and make it look nicer and appetizing, so you want to buy it.
Yep. All about appearance. All about appearance. All about that dollar, man. Whatever looks the best, weighs the most, sells for the highest price. There is no money. Grind time. I sent you a PDF forms about the work from forcing you to take the vaccine. Just wondering if you got it in your email. Which one did you send it to? It depends, man, because I got like 2 emails I use, and people send them different ones. I check one more than the other one. Oh yeah, Bad Wolf. I bought lots of your PDF files. I printed off something and put it in my car. I have my own private plate that says Foreign National. Badass. Yo, I need to get. Yo, let me ask you a question, Wolf.
Yeah.
Yo, the plate you have, is that an embossed plate?
Actually, I have it right here. It's they put some kind of like it. I wanted to find one where it was embossed. Okay, it's a raised, like almost like a plastic sun resistant lettering, and I've had them for years, and they're still going fine. But here, let me grab it real quick.
Back. Yes, sir. We out here traveling privately, man. That's my favorite right to exercise. That is my favorite right there. I exercise that daily. Right to travel. That's it right there. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So if you touch it, they feel almost like they're pretty much like stickers. So it's raised a little bit, but it's they've been lasting for me. Like I haven't had to replace any of them. Anytime I got a new one, it was just because I didn't like, how the old one either looked or whatever else. But yeah, with this one, like the UCC 1-308, obviously that's the I'm not contracting. Anything
police hate UCC 1-308. I swear, police hate that shit. Like, this one cop, it was a cop behind me just Friday, I think it was. It might have been Friday or Thursday.
Yeah.
He pulled up, like, he wasn't even directly behind me, but he was on this side. And I knew what he was doing. He was looking at my plate and shit.
Yeah, of course.
He pulls up next to me and looks at me like, keeps going. Like,
bro.
UCC 1-308. That's like hey, back the fuck off, man.
Yep. That and and ever since I put Foreign National larger lettings, bro, they pull up, they look, I wave, they keep going, because they know as soon as they see that code, it's over. Then they see Foreign National, they already know they don't want that smoke. They're like, nope.
Right. There's too many U.S. citizens out here for you to pick on, man. Why would you go for the harder to eat meal when you got all these easy meals running around here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Caesar better go take care of Caesar's people.
Facts.
Because I ain't the one.
Exactly. Yep, just like any bully, somebody that'll fight back. They don't want no smoke.
Well, yeah, Carl, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for picking up the materials. I'm glad that stuff works for you guys. Like I said, man, everything that I do on there is stuff that I've been through, man. There's been many nights where I was like, man, I need some help, and I had to be my own help. You know what I mean? I had to figure it out, read these laws, and go get at them. You know what I mean? So thank you guys for appreciating and supporting me, and just keep enjoying your freedoms, man. This is what we're always supposed to have.
Exactly, man. That's what we all about, exercising our freedoms, man. We ain't hurt nobody. We out here minding our business. We peaceful people. You know what I mean? But yeah, if you haven't subscribed to my man Bad Wolf, please go subscribe to him. Congratulations on that 6K subscribers, Bad Wolf. That is impressive. The work you have been doing has been outstanding, dude. I check the videos out regularly, and every day I learn something new, man. And big up on that, bro. Great work.
I appreciate you, man. Yeah, we're almost to that 10K mark, man. I never thought I would get there. It's just kind of a personal goal, and we're every day, man. It's like another 100 some odd people. So I appreciate everybody, your support, you, especially you two, A6. I mean, for throwing out the shots and plugging me in. Like I said, I plug you, and we're just gonna keep running this baby, man. We're gonna make it happen. Let's do it.
You know it, man. We the squad out here, man. So if anybody doesn't have any more questions, we can really get ready to wrap this up. My man Queen Mo Fire says, great show, Kings. Thank you very much. Good looking out. My man says, I appreciate both bringing out the information. I knew this when I was younger, gathering information. And now we all connected. That's the great thing about it, bro. We got our
Yeah.
own community. We connected now. So anything that happens, you know, we pretty much are talking to each other about what's going on. I'm monitoring this whole situation about the rise of the Moors too.
Hmm.
I know you've heard about it. They actually are suing the state of Massachusetts in federal court,
Hmm.
and that's where your rights are in federal court.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, hey, the Constitution stands hard there. So that whole Second Amendment thing, they got a very strong leg to stand on there. So I guess I can say good luck to Caesar on that one. You're gonna need it. Yes, sir. So if nobody has any more questions, we can wrap it up for the night. It is the Foreign National Born Natural A6.
All right, I want to leave you guys with one last story before I sign out too. Bill Gates was quoted saying that his vaccines, okay, that he's made is his greatest accomplishment of his life. Okay, so think about that. This man created Windows, and that changed the whole world. But his most profitable thing that he's proud of that he makes the most money off of is his vaccines.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So just think about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but A6, I want to thank you for letting me speak on your channel, sir. We'll have to run it back and bring you on mine at some point,
Oh, definitely.
and chop it up some more. Definitely appreciate this to all the fans and viewers out there. Both of us, we appreciate you guys. You guys give us the support to continue to do this and bring you guys this knowledge. So, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And I'm out.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night. I will holler at y'all during the week. Peace out.